Hi, it's Judy and welcome to another video. So today I have an extremely big haul to show you guys. This is going to be sort of an unboxing as well because a lot of it is boxed up right next to me and I haven't unboxed it yet because I was waiting to film this video. I actually got my first ever YouTube paycheck a week or so ago, and I decided to treat myself with it and buy some new books. And I recently read a book that really inspired me to get into the romance genre, and it's not the smutty romance that a lot of booktubers read, it's more just the general fiction romance kind of vibe. So I ordered a lot of some different authors. Probably wasn't very sensible when some of the authors I've never read any of their books before, so I might not like their writing style, but I am a very impulsive, I think is the word, so I just kind of ordered them all. And yeah, that is why I've ended up with so many, is because I decided to use that YouTube check and I just went a bit crazy. So yeah, I might have to split this video into two simply because I have this huge stack here that needs unboxed and then a big massive pile already on the shelf. I think I will do an romance unboxing haul and then a romance haul because yeah, there's just too much to show in one video. If you would like to see what is in all of these boxes and parcels, then please keep watching. We'll start with this one. I don't remember exactly which books I ordered, if I'm being completely honest, which is really bad. First book is this one here, which is by Cathy Ford, is how I think you pronounce her name. It's double F, so I'm gonna go with Ford. It's called A Country Escape, and I just love this cover. Her books seem to have the prettiest covers, and I've never read any of her books before, but I love the sound of a lot of the synopsis. So this follows Fran, who has gone from living in London as a chef to living in a rundown farm in the Cotswolds. So her auntie has this rundown farm in the Cotswolds, and she basically says to Fran, I'll give you a year, if you can turn it around and make it amazing, you can have it. And she's always wanted to be a farmer, she's always wanted to live in the country, so this is the perfect opportunity to prove herself and end up living in a lovely farm in the Cotswolds. She really needs to transform the farm, and in order to do this she then asks the help of her very nice neighbour, and that's kind of where the story takes off. So this is basically a romance about two people falling for each other while trying to turn around a farm, which is totally out of the norm for me, but I really love the sound of this. I love the countryside and all that kind of country living vibe, and this just sounds really fun and like a cutesy romance, so I'm really excited to read this book. So we have this parcel which is wrapped up in this lovely paper. I think these are Millie Jackson books, which I'm actually reading one of her books at the moment, and I really do like her writing style. I got these two from eBay. So these are The Perfectly Imperfect Woman and Magnificent Mrs. Mayhew. Is it Mayhew? I don't know actually what that says. This follows a lady called Sophie who is married to a very famous politician. Her life seems absolutely perfect, but her husband makes a mistake, and as a result of this mistake it threatens both his career and his marriage with Sophie. So they then hold this kind of press conference thing, and Sophie is told to, you know, play the perfect trophy wife that she always has, and she is told what to say, and instead she says something completely different and breaks the mold basically. And as a result of this she then flees and runs away. She runs away to this small village, the Yorkshire coast, and yeah, that's where the story starts. So she goes to this little village and she finally finds a sense of community and belonging there, and there is, what I'm told from a review, a little bit of romance in there. Basically her just kind of finding herself, so it's not quite romance, but what I mean when I say romance books that I like is kind of this real life stuff that's kind of mixed with romance. And yeah, so this kind of offers that, and I just wanted to get a couple more Millie Johnson books, and someone was selling these for super cheap and I just thought why not, so I picked them both up. This one follows Marnie, and she is someone who's constantly messed up in her life and she just doesn't feel like she's ever gotten where she's supposed to be. So one day she's on a chat room and she ends up talking to this elderly lady and develops quite a good friendship with this person. Marnie arranges to have lunch with this lady who is called Lillian, and she actually finds out that she owns an entire village in the Yorkshire Dales. When Marnie ends up in a crisis, she takes off and she heads for the Yorkshire Dales to stay there. And as a result, she's kind of stuck in this village in the end, and she has to try and win over the villagers. And I think there is also a little bit of a romance in there. I really like the sound of this one. It's just another nice little Millie Johnson book to throw in there, and it's not quite straight up romance, but it has that element. And yeah, I just really wanted to see what it was about. You'll probably already see a theme occurring here. So all these books are kind of, you know, set in the countryside or the coast and that kind of thing, which is what I really like. So yeah, a lot of the books are going to be like that. Jill Mansell one, which is called The Unpredictable Consequences of Love. This has a really cool cover and it's yellow, which is quite cool because not many books are yellow. I've noticed that recently, which is very weird. Very weird thing to notice. But this one is set in Cornwall. So my recent trip to Cornwall is definitely inspired a lot of these picks, because a huge majority of these books that I've bought recently are all set in Cornwall. So yeah, really like Cornwall, then you will love a lot of these books that I have in this haul. This follows a character called Sophie, who's currently working as a photographer in a little village in Cornwall, and she is putting her past behind her. From what I've gathered, she hasn't had an extremely nice past, so she's trying to get on with her life and kind of make a new start for herself in this place. We have Josh, who moves back to the village to help run a family hotel, and he can't get his head around why Sophie won't allow anyone to get close to her. Sophie's best friend Tula actually has a massive crush on him as well. Then we have Riley, who then has a crush on Tula. So we've got a nice little like a square thing going on here with people who like each other, which I really like that kind of dynamic. It's always quite, it's basically a love square rather than a love triangle, so that's kind of cool. This is basically a romancy story and people falling for each other who wouldn't normally fall in for each other, and it sounds like there's multiple romances developing in this book, which I'm really excited for. I love a good romance, and the fact that there's several different romances happening in this book I just think will be so good. And I read some of the reviews for this, and all the reviews said it's just such a lovely romantic book, and I can't wait to read it. And yeah, it'll be my first Jill Mansell book that I'll read, but I've heard a lot of good things about this author, especially if you do like that kind of like lovey-dovey cutesy kind of, you know, cliche romance, and then this is probably an author worth checking out. But yeah, I'm really excited for this one. So next up we have The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. So I've heard so many people talk about this book, and this is kind of sort of like an enemies to lovers kind of book, but it's set in an office setting. This follows Lucy and Joshua. Now Lucy and Joshua really don't like each other. They're always at war with one another, trying to outdo each other and be better than one another at their job. So yeah, they really do not get on. They really do not like each other. And everyone loves Lucy except Joshua. Since he's got there, he has been so cold towards her, and she cannot get him to come to her side, and this really does get under her skin. So she decides that she wants nothing more than to take this guy down. She does not like that one bit, and she is not standing for it. Then there ends up this competition, and basically if Lucy wins this competition, she will become his boss. And then if she loses, she will have to resign. At the bottom of this it does say, the race is on but the games have only just begun. So this just sounds like a really funny, like enemies to lovers, cringy romance, but set in a more realistic setting. I do find a lot of enemies to lovers romances seem to be mainly in fantasy and that kind of thing. Well, the ones that I've read have been. So to see this kind of playing out in an office setting, I just think so cool. And I've heard really good things about this. I've seen a few people on Goodreads give really high reviews to this. So yeah, I really can't wait to read this because it's a bit different for me. I've never read anything before where it's enemies to lovers in an office, so I think that's going to be really interesting. I think this is going to be a good one because they definitely hate each other and they're going to end up loving each other, which is always the story. But yeah, excited. I hate these things. I have to pop these all the time in work and they drive me insane. We have a nice big box of books, which is so exciting. So I'm pretty sure a lot of these ones are the ones set in Cornwall. These authors I am completely new to and I'm really excited about. So I have two Philippa Ashley books. So Philippa Ashley is quite a popular author. She has wrote quite a lot of these kind of books. These are your typical kind of cliche, runs off to a Cornish village and falls in love with a stranger kind of books, which I am here for. I am so excited. The first one is a bit of a weird one to have ordered during the summer, but I just wanted to get a whole bunch of Philippa Ashley's books to read throughout the rest of the year. The first one is A Perfect Cornish Christmas by Philippa Ashley, and then we also have Summer at the Cornish Cafe. Now I think this is part of a series, possibly this one is too, I can't remember. I think I have books 1 and 3 of this series, but I just didn't have this one. I got it as well. This is a Christmassy book, and so I'm not going to go into what this is about, and because I think it's sort of like a follow-on from the first book, I will link it down below and you can read it there. But I have this one and I love the cover. It's getting me very, very excited for Christmas, even though we are only just over halfway through the year, but I love Christmas. And then this one I'm really excited for because I love Cornwall so much, and yeah, I'm obsessed with Cornwall ever since I visited. I've never been somewhere before that felt like home, that wasn't home. I'm gonna live my Cornish dream life through these books, and I'm just very excited for it. This follows a character called Demi, who is a waitress in sunny Cornwall, and she does not expect to meet anyone. She thinks that just serving ice creams and drinks is probably as exciting as someone's gonna get. But then we have the stranger Cal who enters the picture, and somehow Demi convinces Cal to allow her to help him to renovate his holiday resort that he has. And over the summer, these two people grow quite close to each other, and I think this surprises and shocks both of them. And Demi finally feels like she's found a place that she can call home. But Cal has a lot of complications from his past, which make Demi think that he's probably never going to be interested in her. Yeah, I really like the sound of this. This just sounds like one of those really nice kind of strangers, friendships to lovers kind of story, which I really enjoy. I like this kind of story where it's not a straightforward romance. There's some intrigue of what's happened in the past to make this guy like this, and I just want happily ever after, which I'm pretty sure Philippa Ashley's books always end up with happily ever after. So I'm really, really excited for this, especially because it's set in Cornwall, and I love the cover. It is so cute as well. It's got a little Cornish cottage on it, and I want to live there. But yeah, I'm really excited for this because I've heard very good things about Philippa Ashley, and this just sounds so cute. Following the theme of kind of coastal villages, we have The Holiday Cottage by the Sea by Holly Martin, which looks like this here. This follows Tori Graham, who has just lost the love of her life. She's absolutely heartbroken and she just needs to escape somewhere. So she ends up going to Sandcastle Bay, and she's not expecting her summer to be eventful at any means, but then she meets a nice handsome stranger named Aidan Jackson, and he looks after the holiday cottage that she is actually staying in, and he does not want any romance. He's not interested. He's had his heart broken himself and he just does not want to risk it happening again. Tori starts to fall in love with this place, and she also starts to develop feelings for Aidan, and now she's wondering, could this place really be the place she's meant to be? So when her holiday starts to come to an end, she needs to decide what she should do. Should she stay there and try and end up with a happy ever after from Aidan, or should she leave? And there is definitely an attraction between the two of them and some chemistry. So again, this is similar to the Philippa Ashley story, and I just love these kind of cliche cutesy summer romancy books, and I can't wait to read this, and I just know this is going to have a happy ending, and I'm here for it. I love those kind of books. Then we have this one by Cathy Bromley. So this has the most gorgeous cover. It's me written all over it as well. We've got tea, scones, and a gorgeous coastline and a beach. It's just me. It's me in a book. If I was ever going to be a book cover, it'd be this one. But this is called A Match Made in Devon, which I really love the play on words to the title, and this is the cover. It's so nice. So I'll read the synopsis for this one because I can't really remember what it's about. So this says, sometimes you have to play a part to realise who you really are. Nina has always dreamed of being a star. Unfortunately, her agent thinks she's more of the girl next door than leading lady, and her acting career isn't quite going as planned. Then after a series of very public blunders and to escape a gathering storm of paparazzi, Nina is forced to flee the city, leaving nothing but an empty bottle of hair dye and a tiny bedroom behind. Her plan is to lay low with a friend in Devon in beautiful Brightside Cove, but soon Nina learns that more drama can be found in a small village than on a hectic television set. And when a gorgeous man and his adorable dog catches her eye, it's not long before London and showbiz start to lose their appeal. Will Nina choose to return to the bright lights, or has she met a match in Brightside Cove? I just love the sound of this. I absolutely love the sound of it. I just think this sounds like another really cutesy story, and I'm here for it. I love stories like this that are kind of more like finding yourself, you know, like self-discovery and romance together. I just love it. I'm obsessed with this cover. It's so pretty. So these next two I am very, very excited about because I've heard so many things about both of them. If I Never Met You by Mahiri McFarlane. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I really hope that I'm not. Very excited for this one because I've seen a few people talk about this online and all their reviews have been really positive for it. So this is another office romance. So this follows Laurie and James, I think it is. Oh, it's Jamie. Laurie and Jamie, and there's a clear attraction to them. Everybody else in the office can see it, but they're not actually together. So Laurie is actually dumped by her partner of 18 years, and this obviously just completely throws her off. It was out of the blue. She's not expecting it. And you can imagine, you know, you've been with someone for nearly 2 decades and suddenly they just dump you out of nowhere. You're obviously going to be very lost and very heartbroken. But her partner, who's actually dumped her, also actually works in this office. So you can imagine how humiliating it also is to have to go in and face this person as well and see them every day. And then one day she gets stuck in a lift with her handsome colleague Jamie, and they come up with this plan to stage the perfect romance and kind of get revenge. But this is one of those stories we all know and love, fake dating leading to real dating. I can't wait to read this. I'm so excited, and it's another office setting, and I kind of like this because it's a lot more realistic. And I do kind of find, for me personally, a lot of the books that I have read that are kind of, you know, the fake dating thing is very teen like, so they were either set in a school or something. So it's nice to have more like an adult one, and I just think this is going to be a really fun and kind of funny read as well. And like I said, I've seen so many positive reviews for it, so I cannot wait to read this book. Next we have The Worst Best Man, and this is by Mia Sosa, and I love the cover. It's just so funny. Can't remember where I found out about this book. I think I saw it on someone's Goodreads and it just sounded really fun. I believe this is the US edition as well, paperback. It's very floppy, which is a bonus because I love floppy paperbacks. Don't ask why, I'm very weird. We'll read the synopsis for this one as well because I cannot remember exactly what it's about and I don't want to give a synopsis that's wrong, so I'll just read the back. It says, "You're cordially invited to witness the worst best man get what he deserves. A wedding planner left at the altar. Yet the irony isn't lost on Carolina Santos either. But despite that embarrassing blip from her past, Lena's offered an opportunity that could change her life. There's just one hitch. She has to collaborate with the best, make that the worst man from her own failed nuptials." I can't say that word, nuptials. Marketing expert Max Hartley is determined to make his mark with a vetted hotel client looking to expand its brand. But then he learns he'll be working with his brother's whip-smart, stunning, absolutely off-limits ex-fiancée, and she loathes him. If they can nail their presentation without killing each other, they'll both come out ahead, except Max has been public enemy #1 ever since he encouraged his brother to jilt the bride, and Lena's ready to dish out a little payback of her own. Soon Lena and Max discover animosity may not be the only emotion creating sparks between them. Still, this star-crossed couple can never be more than temporary playmates because Lena isn't interested in falling in love and Max refuses to play runner-up to his brother again. Love the sound of this. This is a very complicated kind of romance and obviously sort of enemies to lovers, so I'm very excited for this, and it sounds like it's going to be really funny as well, which is of course an added bonus. So yeah, I can't wait for this one. Next we have another Jill Mansell one, and this is called It Started With a Secret, and this is in this pretty summery hardcover. So this follows a character called Lainey who pretty much lies to get her dream job living in this really nice place in Cornwall. Basically she's kind of like a PA assistant for this really famous actor, and she has to basically fend off all his fans day to day and just look after him. This guy is a retired actor, and she also has to try and like organise things to do with his family as well. And she isn't looking for love, she's actually looking for a break from love, but then she meets his grandson Seth, and she is questioning that. And there's definitely chemistry growing there and an attraction, but she has a secret, and how would he feel if he knew that she basically lied in order to get this job? But she's not the only one with a secret. Seth also has a big secret, and there you have it. So this just sounds like a really cool romance, and I like the element of mystery there to find out what his secret is. And again, I've heard very good things about this author and I cannot wait to read this. Another cutesy story. I love romance books. I don't know why I didn't order any of these before. Lastly, we have a Jenny Colgan book who inspired this entire haul. So while I was away in Cornwall, I actually read one of her books, which was The Bookshop on the Shore, and I loved it. and it got me into wanting to read romance, and I thought I may as well pick up another one of her books. So this one is 500 Miles From You. I think this was probably one of her first ones, or one of the first that got her very popular. This follows a nurse, Lisa, who is very good at her job, and she is a lot better at looking after other people than herself, and she encounters a very traumatic incident at work and decides to swap lives with someone who lives in Scotland. We have Cormac, who's just come out of the army. He's very overwhelmed and very stressed and just wants to get away from a small Scottish village. So he is the person who decides to swap lives sort of with Lisa, and swap, and he'll go to London and she'll go to Scotland. So it's kind of like, is it The Holiday? That kind of thing where they swap over lives and things feel like they're falling back into place, and they're emailing each other back and forth every day, but they are starting to fall for each other via emails. So this is basically a kind of like social media kind of story, not necessarily social media, but through the internet. And I just love the idea, the fact they're 500 miles from each other and they're emailing and developing this relationship, while also living out each other's lives and finding out stuff about each other. I just think that sounds so cool, and I'm very excited to read this. I've heard lots of good things, and I really liked Jenny Colgan's other book that I read, so it gives me a lot of high expectations for this one. So that concludes part 1 of my very big romance book haul. I still have probably 20 books, or just shy of 20 books to haul for you guys. So if you do want to see part 2 soon, then please keep an eye on my channel. You can also click a notification thing, I believe, for when I post a video. I think you can do that, honestly, I'm not sure. I might be wrong, but maybe people do know that. I'm just not very good at YouTube, clearly. If you did like this, then please do give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to. And if you have read any of these books, then please do comment them down below what your thoughts were, or if you've got any recommendations. I'm looking for romance recommendations. I have no problems adding to my wish list, so if you do know any books that are similar to this kind of thing, then please let me know, because I'd be really interested in them. If this has inspired you to pick up any of these as well, then also let me know that. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!